And we're back with more the amazing and indifferent, incredible Hokes. I'm Chris.
I am Mark.
And together...
This is the first time we've announced ourselves, I think, all day.
Yeah, because we're doing a different show.
Ah.
So, I'll probably release this one first, and we can talk about the other show a little bit.
Okay.
But, like, we apologize for the last shows. We did it with a webcam that's built into the iMac, thinking that would be a good idea. And it looked like we were back in the 90s using a flip phone. Even though this is a brand new Mac, it still uses the webcam like it's a piece of shit camera, basically. So now we're back to making it nice and clear, and hopefully it sounds great and looks better. So apologize for the webcam lost years. That shit. It was terrible. I was embarrassed by it. I was really mad. I was really upset by it. I thought it would be a winner, and it was not a winner. It'd make life easier if we just used the webcam.
Yeah.
It
was our Twilight Zone experiment with going to... they used that... Instead of going to film, they went to that video.
Tape?
Yeah, they went to tape video, and then they had to go back to film because it
looked bad.
It looked terrible.
Yeah, so apologize for that little stint. All right, but we are back with a brand new invention. The topic today is...
Avengers, Infinity War. Is it not?
Yes, it is. You look... You looked at me for approval. I didn't know if I could give it. Okay.
I didn't know if we were going to get a curveball or not.
The movie has been out. This is the second weekend. The weekend.
Spoilers. So
we're doing spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, stop. So you're being fairly warned right now. I'll put it in the comments and everything else. This is spoilers.
Yes.
It's been out for 2 weekends.
Right.
And spoilers.
Spoilers because everybody dies.
Half of them. That was a dick movie you just pulled by that movie.
We told them. We gave them plenty of warning.
Yeah, but they were like maybe waiting for the spoiler thing to end, and they were going to click off, and then you just went like, spoilers. That was kind of... Wow.
Well, you had it like spoilers alert now.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it. I'm not condemning you.
Hey, we're an edgy show.
I'm okay with it. So, yes. Let's just get right to it, the ending. Let's just cut to the fucking chase. To get to the ending. Thanos in the movie, if you're still watching this and you haven't seen it, but you still chose you didn't care about spoilers, Thanos gets all the stones in his gauntlet, or however you say it, whatever it's called, gauntlet.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
He has all the stones in it. He's God,
all the soul
basically.
stones.
He's basically God. He's basically God.
He's super powerful.
Super powerful. I mean, he don't want to say it, but he's basically God. He controls everything. And so, half of the entire civilization on every system and planet is now gone. Including some of our beloved superheroes. And I know Black Panther is gone.
Right. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is gone. The Falcon, the guy with the wings.
Yeah, Falcon's gone.
War Machine, or whatever. The Iron Man 2 guy. The black guy, Don Cheadle.
Thought he made it.
I thought he was one of the ones that...
No, I think War Machine's still alive.
Alright, keep going. Bucky? Did Bucky live?
Bucky's gone. And
Doctor Strange is gone.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. That was another big one.
Vision is actually kind of killed before the deal.
Right.
And then remember all.
Nick Fury, of course, is gone.
Yeah.
And
not before he sends a beacon out to Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Loki. They set a tone with the movie in the opening scene where they killed off Idris Elba and Loki right there in the opening scene.
Right.
And that was them, I think, conditioning for us. Okay, this is a different movie.
Yes.
Because Loki is extremely beloved. And they went right for the jugular and took out a very beloved character right in the opening scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of been like a ongoing soap opera, if you will. But it's like now we're getting to the end. Now there's going to be consequences.
Yes.
So a lot of us, like me, they get kind of frustrated about ongoing stories, kind of hoping for some finality. We're finally getting finality now with this episode and then the next one. We're going to get some finality.
Okay, so Loki, Idris Elba, the gatekeeper, whatever he's called, and the Vision are all killed outside of the apocalyptic event of Thanos.
Yeah.
So I think they're really dead. I think they're dead.
And Gamora is also dead before.
That's right. You're exactly right. Gamora is also dead. Her, I'm not so sure about.
Well, we can get into that if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly think, I mean, first off, the Black Panther is going to come back because you just made $2 billion off of his standalone movie.
Right.
Yeah, he's not dead. Even if the original plan was, there's some producer somewhere at Disney said, change the fucking script. We've already been shooting it. Change the fucking script right now.
Right.
Black Panther's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man's coming back because they literally are filming the next movie we already know. So he's coming back.
I have a theory on this. Do we want to get there?
Do we want to review or do theories? Let's
finish the review then, and then we'll do theory.
All right. So my review is I liked the movie. I thought it was very well done. A lot of the little details of the prior movies paid off.
Yes.
Red Skull even comes back, and then one of the banes of all of the existence of the comic movies is that they all have the same ending, where there's some powerful universal thing with a city under attack. They even paid that off because each of the Infinity Stones are now assembled, and you see what they can do. It still doesn't excuse X-Men. It still doesn't excuse the DC movies. But it does lessen it a little bit that every fucking Marvel movie ends with, hey, we got an all-powerful tool that we must save a destroying city for.
Right.
So a little bit of the edge was taken off of that. I just like the payoffs. There were so many payoffs of 10 years. Oh, they did that because of this. Oh, we were leading up to that. That's what I enjoyed the most.
Right.
And I thought the biggest compliment I can give the movie is I really didn't want to see it on opening weekend because I didn't want to watch the big audience, and I was really dreading I thought it was going to be like a Michael Bay movie with so many characters. It'd be like a clusterfuck. But they very well balanced that many characters into a cohesive, easily understood story. I mean, it was very easy to follow all the plot lines.
Yeah.
Even Jude, who's 5, totally dug the movie. So it was very, very well done. That it was. They handled it masterfully. I felt.
My only, my biggest, I guess, critique of the film was in the dialogue, especially in the first hour, is often those conversations. Everybody was trying too hard to do the quips and be a little too clever. And I got, enough of that. A little of that goes a long way, and they were really leaning on that. I was like, okay, guys. And I thought, well, they must be getting ready to go really dark because they're really trying to hit a lot of comedy early, to kind of soften the blow, I think. And, but yeah, I didn't need to hear Thor refer to Rocket like 4 times as a rabbit. The first 2 times was kind of funny, but then afterwards, like, yeah, you're still doing the rabbit thing. Okay. It fell a little flat. But those are small things. Otherwise, I gave it a 3. It was a 3-star movie. It's a good movie. Things do pay off here. I wasn't sure if Thanos would be that interesting as a villain. So kudos to Josh Brolin for making the character kind of a flesh and blood. Even though it's a all CG character, but but he really. It's a good performance, motion capture performance, and what else did I like? And the directors had a lot of ingredients to have to shuffle around, and did a good job to give everybody their moment, which was not an easy thing to do.
I didn't feel like I got too much of one thing. I didn't feel like I got not enough of another. That's the biggest compliment I can give. I didn't feel I got too much of Thor and not enough Black Widow or something like that. I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it was service the story. I thought they put the story ahead of any actor ego or anything like that. I felt like the story was coming first watching it.
And Marvel's been kind of known for having weaker villains. The heroes are so much more interesting. They finally had a villain do something, really be a threat to all of them.
Well, yeah, and I think
And be a challenge to all of them. And so kudos. I mean, that's the biggest, I think, praise I have for the movies. You finally delivered on a villain that was a challenge to all of them. And I mean, Thor. It's a little bit frustrating because Thor is way more powerful in the comics than he is in the movies thus far. With the ending of Thor Ragnarok and this movie, they're starting to show you how powerful Thor really can be.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of cool, but it has been a little frustrating. It's like, Thor's way more powerful than this. So I understand if you start with if you make Thor all powerful, there's like, to start with, then there's nowhere to go. So I totally get what they're doing. So I expect Thor, if we can move into theories now, to be a real big character in the next one. But I think we're all leading up to everyone's coming back, in my opinion. Every one of them. They're going to figure out a way to bring them all back, reverse time, but it's going to mean one person has to sacrifice. And who is the red, white, and blue guy that would absolutely answer the bell on that and it makes the most sense to do it would be Captain America. I think Captain America is the guy that sacrifices himself to save everybody.
I don't have a problem with a sacrificial lamb Messiah type incident has to happen that saves, his death leads to saving everybody else. I don't know if it'll be, I don't think there's an obvious choice for me. I always say look at what they're filming and look what their contracts are. That'll tell you the most about who's doing what. I don't really know if I have. I went on Wikipedia and I looked at what the plot lines were for the inspirational comic books, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff that's not even involved.
Oh yeah,
with the movie that they did, like with the death and some sort of like witch character or something are involved, and it was too much. I didn't understand half of it.
Yeah,
and so I was like, well, they're probably gonna do something else. So. And the screenwriters came out and said that if you're thinking that they're just going to reverse time and bring her back, yeah, they're not. So go ahead and write that off your list. That's what they claimed. But, I mean, filmmakers say a lot of different things to throw you off the scent, but they really just do that.
Well, that's been on the internet, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you seen where everybody's been fussing that Marvel and Disney basically have been lying about this movie in a big way? The big lie was, if you remember, it was supposed to be Avengers, and it was this was going to be part 1 of 2.
Yeah.
Then they came back and said, "Oh no! It's not part 1. It's a total story by itself. It's not part 1 of anything." And you're like, "Why do they really? Why does it matter?"
Mm-hmm.
And they really just go. I know we're shooting at the same time, but it's a totally separate story.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, of course, then I see the movie, and of course, immediately when I saw the thing roll credits, you jerks, y'all just didn't want us to know that you were going to do a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do part 1 to cover that up, and you realized you'd messed up, so you been lying, just flat out lying to fans and the public for a year. No. It's just to cover up the fact that there may be a cliffhanger. I just find it fascinating.
I don't really know if I have a theory. I read some theory stuff.
But I loved the ending. I thought it was great.
Oh, I loved it too. It was emotional and dark. And it was something more than a comic book movie. It was more in that Lord of the Rings, Empire Strikes Back territory.
I've been asking Marvel to give me a little more, and they did. So
it was more than that.
I was satisfied.
It was kind of like I love the endings. Like you watch a movie like Gone Baby Gone, where it's a really good movie, but it has this extra act almost after spin at the end that makes it that much deeper. And No Country for Old Men does the same thing, where it takes another deeper step at the end. And I felt like this was their version of taking a deeper step. I mean, and Thanos basically, I don't know, I remember thinking as I watched the scene, as he just sits there and he's just sitting there and it's all rainbows and peace and butterflies, and he just sort of smiles, and I was like, okay, this is God moment. This is the 7th day he's rested, and everything is good.
Yeah.
Everything is good, and he's pleased with his work.
I think I didn't have time to look it up, but I think the screenwriters also wrote Prince Caspian, one of the Narnia movies.
Don't know.
Anyway, I kept thinking throughout the movie that this was. They kind of kept doing a little bit of the. Anytime you get into this universal thing and the whole godlike stuff, they actually mention Jesus' name in the movie, and I thought, is this going to be one of them kind of like, well, this is so you'll know me by another name kind of a thing. I kind of felt like that's what they were. That was an inspiration at times. Like, well, you'll know me by another name in the Marvel universe. Like, oh, okay, whatever.
I liked it.
I'm fine with it. Just
in all honesty, I mean, I have mostly liked all of the Marvel movies. I don't know if I've loved a lot of them, but I've mostly liked a lot of them. I loved the first Guardians when I saw it. I loved the first Iron Man when I saw it.
Winter Soldier, Captain America is still my absolute favorite.
That was really good. Winter Soldier was really good. Civil War I liked a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty much all the Captain America stuff I've liked a lot. The second Avengers was weak.
Right.
I thought Ragnarok was the better of Thor of the three. I think you have a different opinion.
I do.
On Thor.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's been spotty, but Doctor Strange didn't grab me at all. Something that didn't connect with me at all on Doctor Strange.
It needed more energy or something. I don't know.
I don't know what it was. Benedict Cumberbatch, I like him a lot. I am a fan. Maybe it's the character. He comes off a little awkward and righteous or self-righteous or something. It's a little off.
Yeah.
Something's.
Well, that's what's so great about
something's missing there.
Robert Downey Jr. can be conceited and a little arrogant, but he's so damn charming.
Right.
But
there's not a lot of charm.
There's not a lot of charm with Doctor Strange, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it's all the conceit, but none of the charm.
Right.
Maybe that's the problem, and maybe that's true of the character. I never read Doctor Strange. Maybe that's who he was. I don't know. I just never read it. All in all, I liked it a lot. I think it's a notable entry for 18. It's a movie that I think that, unlike a lot of big tentpoles, I actually will think about for weeks and days to come. I remember scenes from it.
Right.
So many of our tentpole movies, like you watch them, and then the next week it's like you never even saw it. It's all gone. You don't really care. This one stuck with me.
Yeah, we had a recent discussion about DC, their franchise, and how they could turn around.
Yeah.
And I wish I had thought of this when we were having a discussion. I'm going to relate it to this movie. But if you remember, Batman Begins came out.
Mm-hmm.
The first, everyone thinks of the Dark Knight trilogy, and they all say that because the second movie, The Dark Knight, is so awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you remember, the first one came out, Batman Begins, and people were like, what? And everybody was kind of disappointed. It was like, it's too dark. It wasn't very heroic. It just wasn't a lot of fun. But because the second one was so great, people kind of overlooked that and have lofted up that trilogy.
Yeah.
But then when they started up again with Zack Snyder, they kept basically the Batman Begins stuff and just kept going.
Uh-huh.
Marvel, to their credit, we never did a Batman Begins. We decided to be fun from day one.
Right.
We kind of know who these guys are, and we kind of stick to our lane here. We don't want to get too far off.
Uh-huh.
And because we're at the service of fans, and I think sometimes these DC people hire people who they kind of do what you think is interesting. And it's like, well, you got to be careful with that. You might think it's interesting, but if fans don't, then you need to stop. Marvel, God bless them, they might make a movie like Iron Man 2 that was a little disappointing, but by God, Guardians of the Galaxy was freaking awesome, so they know how to deliver more often than not.
One theory and this is not my theory, this is something I read, and as we're talking, it's worth noting. One of the best theory I've read about where they'll go with number 2 is that the stones themselves are sentient beings. The stones themselves are their own. They have their own thoughts, feelings, whatever.
Okay.
They may go where the stones themselves write it all, and they reject this guy that wields them. Because Vision, and they made the point that the Vision keeps saying the stone's talking to me, the stone's telling me things, and there's
Right.
and like the Red Skull says, the stone cast me here, and the stone demands you make a choice, where he kills Gamora. So the interesting theory I read was, which I wouldn't mind if they went this way, is if the heroes are trying everything they can't beat this son of a bitch, and then the stones deem him unworthy, and kill Thanos and right the universe.
Well, this may be out there, but one of my theories I had, it reminded me a little bit of Matrix Revolutions. You'll excuse me, but
Starting off shaky.
I know you'll excuse me,
Starting
folks,
off
but
shaky.
stay with me.
All right, I'm listening.
Doctor Strange, he sees the multiple futures. He knows only one of those futures
Right.
has the outcome that they want.
Right.
Does he almost like Neo letting himself lose in order to win, kind of a thing?
That's what he says in the end game. He says in the movie, we're playing the end game.
Yeah, it's like I've figured out a way to do something on that time stone, like a poison pill, if you will. Go ahead and surrender it, but doing it the way I'm doing, what Thanos doesn't know is it's almost like a. In your computer, you do a recovery file, you host the shit, but you can go, hey, my recovery file from a month ago. All right, get rid of that virus. You almost wonder if Doctor Strange has done basically a recovery thing on there. Just, it's an out there theory. It's very Matrix Revolutions.
Well,
but
that isn't too. That's somewhat a cousin to the idea that I just threw out there. So we'll see. Well, I'm just excited because this is the first movie in a long time that I actually give a shit about what the different theories are. So even more so than Star Wars.
Right.
So that's a high compliment for me. Because normally I see the movie and I'm back to work and I don't give a shit. And I just see the next one. Now, this one I've actually let me go read these fan theories and see what they say.
Yeah.
I've actually been interested in talking to people and hear what they think. That's like the highest praise I can give it. Because normally I don't give a crap. So, kudos to them.
I just wonder, as a parting thought, I just wonder if I should annoy Hollywood by thanking them for adding the rapture element.
That's what I say. I said it's a conservative movie. The whole ending's the rapture. The whole thing is they're out there in the tribulation.
Exactly.
I said that's right. I sent you a text. I said so it's Marvel's version of the Revelation.
Yeah.
With all them. All right, so
it was unexpected. It was a nice change. Thank you, Marvel.
Speaking of nice changes, time to change the show to not be on now. I do.
You faded.